The mystery of morning. Like, how do the morning wakers fucking see when they're driving? It's so bright. Woke up, it's morning. I feel like being productive for some reason. Take 2. Don't you worry about what this random fucking cord is. Oh. So I woke up, it's morning, felt like being productive. Might as well make a YouTube video. Yeah, so I just made a new account on MOG Arena because it's a MOBA and these games are super serious. No one casually plays MOBAs unless like you're getting coached into it by your veteran friend that's suspiciously warranting like all your fucking in-game behavior. Like, oh sure, I'll play this. Oh, this mage like ADC character looks cool. They're like,
no, don't play the mage ADC.
There's so much learning curve. Play the bruiser tank support. Play Graham. Play Groove, the hook guy. Just play this guy. Sit in the solo lane. Throw your hook. Pull him into the tower. The tower will kill. Super innovative. You up to it? Okay. He's like sitting in there. You like hook someone, pulls him in. They like flash out of the tower. Good job. You're not 0-5. Your tower's not obliterated. Your whole lane's not destroyed. Your teammates are not
wishfully chanting your death
on my Smite account for Xbox. Yeah, no, none of that is happening. Because it would. If you fucked up. So don't fuck up. Yeah. Let's see. We're changing the video feed, but we're keeping the audio. So, alright, give me one moment to buffer. I'm gonna use the power of video editing to just...
Enemy hero has fallen. Your team has destroyed enemy hero. Killing spree. Killing spree. Double kill. Rampage. Ally has fallen. Unstoppable. Killing spree! Enemy hero has fallen. Rampage! Your team has destroyed the turret!
Okay, can you guys see this? So we'll start with macro gameplay, alright? Now the role that is most macro-centric is the jungler, by far. Max level macro, okay? Quick example, any of the laners, you're typically in lane with your enemy laner, right? Like, you don't gotta think too hard about where they are. And if they are missing from the lane, it's like, okay, there's like 3 things they could be up to. Are they backing to buy? If that's not a thing in your game, for example, most mobile MOBAs, then no, they're not backing to buy. So are they helping secure neutral objectives, the neutral objective up? Are they ganking another lane? Did they get injured by a teammate or, you know, yourself, and so they're just backing to heal? Like, you really don't got to think too much about where your enemy laner is, and it's not really important to sit there and figure out where your enemy laner is, just that you call them out to your teammates when they are missing. The junglers are not directly engaged with each other. Let's say you're in a game where the neutral objectives aren't team-centric. On MOG Arena, for example, it's not like these timers spit up and it's just game-changing like in Wild Drifts or League of Legends where you like keep getting all the dragons, you're just gonna win. You have to group up as a team for those most of the time. But on MOG Arena, it's not quite like that. Gold is a lot more static, so you can actually track the enemy jungler's location by keeping track of how much gold they have. The Riverdar amount, which is like the equivalent of a scuttle crab basically, gives 168 gold, and there's two, one on top side river, one on bottom side river. Now, since the neutral objectives aren't team-oriented like the dragons are in Wild Rifts or League, or even like Heroes Evolved, for example, or Mobile Legends, right? This map in Onmyoji Arena is not set up like that. The River Dharma only gives vision on that neutral objective. It's the only form of vision for the neutral objectives other than towers, minions, and allies. And they're worth 168. So let's say you take one small camp out, you kill the Kirin, which is basically your buff monster, and then you go up to the river and take the Dharma, right? 85, 120, 165. You have like 360 gold, something like that, right? You'll have about 400. You start with, 300, so you have 700. You're at your tier 2 item. Now let's say you check after you clear the river Dharma, which is like the equivalent of the scuttle crab, basically. And they have just under 300 gold, and they weren't in the lane that you took the scuttle crab from. Well, obviously they started in either the same side and just went down to bottom because they fully cleared out their jungle, or they just took their buff and then went and took the Dharma. You just track their jungler to two possible rotation patterns. And then you can keep track of their rotation patterns as the game goes on a lot easier in Onmyoji Arena, especially because the gold is static through minions and even through kills. Unlike, for example, still a similar setup game, Arena of Valor, where each kill starts netting more and more gold. Your first kill is netting you 240, but your 7th kill, right, is netting you 800 gold. Right? Well, they have like 1200 gold and like 3 tiers in, you're like matching them and you're on your 3rd tier. Well, it's like, okay, did at any point they get a triple kill and get like 400 gold, and so like their jungle monsters are still on bottom side, so like, you know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't work. Because you can open up the like info tab, right, and see everyone's gold and see everyone's items, but keeping track of like who double killed or triple killed who, to like math that out into gold, to like, yeah, no, that's way too macro. It's like not viable. In fact, in Onmyoji Arena, gold tracking is a lot more viable than atomization tracking. Aside from just like, enemy jungler just bought armor pierce first item. They might be ganking our solo laner. Right, like that's more obvious. I'm just saying. You can't just look at their items and be like, okay, they spend this much. And anyways, junglers usually have like some burst ultimate that just like assassinates their target, just like chunks them down. Even the like warrior hybrid type of assassins that are like auto attack centric, they're still building a lot of attack damage, right, to get their ability damage off. I mean, like typically auto attack centric junglers have like an attack steroid of some sort, so that's saving you on attack speed, so you're still building ability damage anyways. Point is like you're just clicking your button, and like a lot of times with assassins, right, because think junglers are usually assassin type of characters, and it's like, a lot of burst damage at once for the most part, or in and out, solo fighting, 1v1ing, a lot of their abilities just kind of like run themselves, right? Like it could even be like hit someone with the shuriken and then hit the button again, you'll just teleport behind them and like fucking do an attack, and it just is automatic, right? Versus an ADC is much more microcentric, right? Because they gotta like switch on the right target. They have to like time their cooldowns for their attack stem, like because they're engaged in combat with their enemy way more often. Your positioning, your target switching. I mean, the most macro thing about like ADC, especially in lane, is like, oh, should I hit the minion and then them, or like should I fight them off and then come back to the minion wave? Like, and like not even then, like smite, for example, like you almost always want to take the minion wave. Even in League, I guess Wild Rifts and League are kind of like up in the air, because there's times where you want to like, if your comp is built around it, dip off your wave, fucking go for the kill, right? Like kill pressure. If you're not trying to outclear the enemy, right? That's usually a mage thing. bursting down the wave before your enemy can, so that way you can get a rotation of abilities off. That's usually a mage thing, not so much a marksman thing. But it, again, depends on the MOBA. Jungler, max level macro. Every fucking MOBA. Doesn't matter. Like, all about the map and where things are and the bigger picture, not so much like the actual finesse and hand-eye coordination of like hitting your buttons at the right time and shit. No. Junglers are like farming and like watching the map and like, oh fuck. Like, mid laner actually isn't backing to buy. He's fucking went into the other lane, but like my mid laner's backing to buy, so he assumed they're backing to buy. So now bot lane, the fucking mage is coming, like, and you're just like farming the camp the whole time, like not really pushing buttons. You know what I mean? Thinky. This is more like strategizing and thinking through things, and then micro's more like actually fucking hitting your buttons and taking action. A lot different. So where the support falls in, unlike the jungler, which is why I did the jungler first, because it's just like jungler, max level macro, every fucking MOBA, doesn't matter. No, the support varies depending on the MOBA, and this is where we're gonna start getting into every fucking MOBA. I will help you with any fucking role in any fucking MOBA. I got you. So if you're playing support on PC, if you're playing support in Smite specifically, aside from PC, right? Or if you're playing support on mobile, this will determine the level of how macro to micro oriented they are. And then I also pin the mid laner in with the support in this sense, so we can follow these triangles back up to the mage. And same thing, PC and Smite, they'll have like their own level of micro to macro gameplay that's like viable, and then same with the support, PC or Smite or onto mobile. And then real quick, the solo laner is balanced a lot like the support and the mage, but a lot more. I built a bunch of physical defense because like my enemy laner was a fucking bruiser or a tank or something. So maybe I shouldn't rotate into the mid lane where the enemy's gonna burst me down with magic damage. Maybe I should help out the duo lane. You know what I mean? It's like very minimal macro like centric. But those wet noodle fights in solo lane, man, you gotta be on your buttons, especially in Smite, managing your potions, managing your minion waves. There's like neutral objectives a lot of time. Not so much in mobile MOBAs. Like a lot of times you wait for your jungler to come, but in like Smite or League of Legends, even Wild Rifts, even Vainglory, a lot of time your solo laner gets priority. If they can win their lane out, they can fucking go wherever they want. A lot of times though, they're communicating with the jungler because the jungler, it's their fucking job to hold the macro gameplay. That's why a lot of times in pro leagues like the SPL or, you know, League of Legends, even Arena of Valor fucking has esports going, right? And you notice it's the junglers and the supports that are usually the shot callers, and that's because they're the ones that are watching the map the most. So ultimately, back on solo laner, all MOBAs is just like bare bones balance, right? Like I said, their macro mindset really just comes into if they win lane, are they going to rotate out, or can they rotate out early? Or if their enemy laner rotates out, is it worth following them, like showing up late to the party, or is it worth just farming and taking the tower? And it really depends on if you can take that tower or not, because if you're going to sit in lane and like just get up to their tower and get pushed back by like a different enemy that's like unaccounted for, then just fucking better be late to the party than like never show up, right? Just an example. Again though, the macro mindset is very minimal, right? You're not having to like gold track the opposition's position. But yeah. Anyways, God, I could just talk MOBAs for fucking ever, man. God. So yeah, next video we'll cover jungle. Really getting into dragon comps and hyper farming where the objectives, you know, are not as volatile. And then the video after that will be ADCs. People who main ADCs on mobile MOBAs, fucking 72 trident layers awaiting you when you die. Maybe more if you blow yourself up. Just not in my fucking ranked match, okay? And then I might do supports and mages together because they really coincide with the 3v3 topic, right? Identifying the 3v3, like what really makes a 3v3 a 3v3. Ultimately, it's if the endgame objective is like, I could explain it, I really could, but it'd take a minute, I'd go on a tangent. But ultimately, through cause and effect, the endgame objective really plays into wanting to take that mid tower or not, because if you get that mid tower and keep your mid tower up, because it opens up the jungle, it consequently, the team that takes the mid tower, that keeps their mid tower up, is way more likely to get the main objective. Yeah, that's all she wrote, so